finally, we can now see that Ryan was panicked in general about him being apart from Blake Lively, so much so that when they first communicated with one another,
Justin says that Blake was determined to make him the real-life villain in her story.
Defendant Blake Lively has unequivocally left them with no choice, not only to set the record straight in response to Lively's accusations, but also to put the spotlight.
Lively's complaint accuses Baldoni, who is also the film's director, of creating a hostile work environment and trying to ruin her reputation.
I can also tell you personally, back when I was an intern at Glamour magazine, working under an editor, she said the most difficult person that she has ever worked with and the rudest person that she had ever worked with was Blake Lively.
In a stunning twist that has sent shockwaves across social media, rumors are swirling that Marvel has made the extraordinary decision to cast Justin Baldoni as the new face of Deadpool. Even more surprising, these same rumors allege that Ryan Reynolds, long revered for his pitch-perfect portrayal of the wisecracking red-suited anti-hero, has been caught off guard by the announcement and is none too pleased about Italian fan circles. This has been framed as Reynolds losing it, a dramatic reaction that underscores the depth of disappointment and disbelief felt by those who have followed his journey in the role. While some claim Marvel has officially confirmed the decision behind closed doors, no public statement has materialized. As a result, the internet is flooded with discussions, debates, and even conspiracy theories about how such a massive shift could have happened and why it might make sense from Marvel's perspective. For the longest time, the idea of anyone other than Ryan Reynolds donning Deadpool's mask felt unthinkable. When Reynolds first brought the character to life, he transformed a comparatively niche Marvel Comics persona into a bona fide cultural phenomenon. Fans marveled at how seamlessly Reynolds' personality meshed with Deadpool's sarcastic tone, fourth-wall-breaking humor, and subversive attitude. The first movie's runaway success seemed to confirm what many suspected, that Reynolds was the only actor who could truly embody the Merc with a mouth. A profitable sequel followed, further cementing his place at the core of the character's cinematic identity. Under those circumstances, the notion of recasting would typically never even enter the conversation. Yet now, according to a sudden wave of rumors, Marvel has supposedly decided to do exactly that. Justin Baldoni, best known for his work on television and for his directorial endeavors, has reportedly been tapped to take the reins. The rumor posits that the decision was influenced by an incredibly complex interplay of factors, including possible contractual disputes and behind-the-scenes tension that made Ryan Reynolds' return difficult.
She said, just read it, because I was looking for movies that could be commercial and speak to the human experience. And
were you reading romance novels?
And I had never read a romance novel.
Never?
And she said, just trust me, read it. So I read it, and by the end of the book, I couldn't even read the text on the page because I was crying so much. My wife was in bed next to me, and she's... I got snot coming out of my nose.
While fans initially shrugged off these whispers as baseless gossip, the story has stubbornly refused to die, fueled by social media chatter about a confirmed conversation between Marvel executives and Baldoni. Some claim a series of private meetings already took place, culminating in a handshake deal that everyone assumed would remain under wraps until an official studio announcement could be made. What's most jarring is the accompanying claim that Ryan Reynolds is not only out of the picture but also blindsided by how quickly events have unfolded. Various unverified sources describe him as being in a state of disbelief, if not outright frustration, at having his signature role yanked out from under him after years of championing the character. For those who have followed Reynolds' public persona, this storyline feels almost surreal. He's always been witty, laid back, and in control, especially where Deadpool is concerned. The rumor of him losing it suggests a stark contrast, implying that this sudden turn of events rattled him like nothing else before. Baldoni's rumored appointment injects an entirely new layer of intrigue into the Deadpool saga. Known primarily for roles that diverge from the R-rated comedic style Deadpool thrives on, Baldoni's inclusion would represent a significant shift both in comedic tone and in cinematic approach. While Baldoni has displayed dramatic range and a knack for heartfelt storytelling, few would label him a natural successor to a role defined by sarcastic banter, outlandish humor, and an irreverent edge. This contrast alone has made the rumor spread even more dramatically. People wonder if the recasting signals Marvel's intention to reshape the franchise in a different direction. Could Baldoni's more earnest public image indicate the studio wants to soften Deadpool's notoriously edgy vibe? Or is Baldoni looking to subvert expectations and prove he can handle a rowdier character?
It's believing that people and humanity are inherently good. And they crave nutritious food in their soul, just as they do in their bodies.
One theory speculates that Marvel, now under the all-encompassing umbrella of Disney, might be aiming to integrate Deadpool into a more interconnected family of Marvel heroes, necessitating subtle modifications to the character's tone. Under that assumption, executives might have decided that a completely fresh take was necessary. Another rumor points to potential legal complexities behind the scenes, hinting at an unresolvable issue in Reynolds' existing agreements. Some even claim that Reynolds' alleged frustration stems from Marvel's attempt to exercise clauses that allow them to recast if certain conditions aren't met. Yet, the specifics remain murky. No one can seem to pinpoint exactly which conditions might have been triggered, leaving fans to argue that the entire rumor is either wildly misinformed or missing a crucial piece of the puzzle. Adding to the swirl of speculation is how the fan community is reacting to Baldoni himself. Many appreciate his previous work, praising his sincerity, dedication, and thoughtful approach to storytelling. They acknowledge that he might bring a fresh perspective, perhaps evolving the Deadpool franchise into territory no one expected. Others remain fiercely loyal to Reynolds, questioning if Baldoni has the comedic chops or the overwhelming fan goodwill to fill such large shoes. The online discourse is split between those intrigued by the possibility of something new and those who argue that recasting Deadpool is akin to cinematic betrayal.
I'm honored, and I'm also more honored that because, what we're talking about is so important and so meaningful that we're able to have this much anticipation and so many people want to go see it and are talking about it. That's what I'm grateful for.
And you had a key part in bringing it to the big screen. How did this all come to be?
Well, in 2019, I read the book. I was sent the book by my book agent and friend at the time, and I was looking for films that could inspire, that were commercially viable, but also could really reach in and touch somebody's heart.
Social media platforms are teeming with heated threads, and some fans have even declared they would boycott any new Deadpool film lacking Reynolds in the lead. Another layer to consider is the broader Marvel Cinematic Universe and how Deadpool might fit into it in the coming years. With the expansion into multiverse storylines, cameo possibilities, and an ever-shifting roster of heroes, Deadpool's irreverent commentary could be a goldmine for comedic deconstructions of standard superhero fare. T.O. Luz Reynolds, who has proven adept at meta-humor, risks missing out on the comedic synergy fans have been eagerly anticipating. Yet, a pro-Baldoni faction suggests a fresh start might open doors for new comedic angles. They argue that while Reynolds' approach was iconic, any role can evolve under a different performer, potentially blending comedic timing with other emotional notes. After all, superhero recasts have happened before. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
And being frank, if it were not for women giving me direct feedback in my own personal life and being a man who was willing to at least listen to them, there's no chance that I would be having this conversation. So the message, to answer your question, the message is very simple. As men, we need to embrace all of the parts of us that make us human. That's it. It's very simple.
Still, the rumor's consistent mention of Justin Baldoni is peculiar. He isn't the usual name that surfaces when fans speculate about potential replacements for Reynolds. Someone like Taron Egerton or another actor more closely aligned with comedic roles might have seemed a more conventional guess. Baldoni's name popping up suggests a deliberate choice in rumor creation or, if there is truth to it, a carefully considered move by Marvel. Speculating about Baldoni's comedic ability or the changes to Deadpool's rating or storyline only adds to the intrigue. The idea that Marvel might be looking to pivot Deadpool from R-rated territory to a lighter PG-13 approach has long been a talking point, especially under the Disney banner.
I was testing for a show that ended up actually getting picked up and doing very well, and I was one of two people, maybe. And then I get a call from my managers and my agent. They were both on the line, which means it's something serious. Right. Either you got the job or there's something wrong. Yeah. And they said, so you were the choice, but the network said that your eyebrows would be too distracting.
Oh, what? Oh,
no. And then they went so what can we do about your eyebrows?
If true, this could mark one of the most radical shifts in Marvel history. The idea of a clean slate would spark immense debate, from the financial risks to the tonal implications. What happens if fans reject Baldoni outright? Would Marvel reverse course? Or will they stand firm and reimagine the franchise with bold new storytelling? A move this drastic wouldn't just impact Deadpool. It could shift Marvel's approach to legacy characters entirely, setting a precedent for replacing beloved actors when necessary.
It's based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the generational cycles in her life and breaks them and ends the circle. And I hope people find it inspiring, and yet also, it's a film about a heavy topic. It's about domestic violence.
With Deadpool's status in limbo, only time will reveal the truth. Until then, the speculation remains a cinematic spectacle of its own, leaving fans to argue, theorize, and brace for what might come next. Whether Baldoni ultimately steps into the role or the rumor fizzles out, one thing is certain. Deadpool's unpredictable nature has extended beyond the screen and into Hollywood itself.